Hey, welcome to Friday's edition of The Rundown. My name's Mike Poworski. I'll be leading you through today's program, but I don't do it by myself. Of course, you know I don't do it by myself. We co-host this program together. Sitting across from me, 3,000 miles away, is my good friend.
Craig DeLuz, that would be me. Is that lightning flashing right there, man? What's going on over there? Looks
Yeah,
like the
it's Florida. I closed the door on the studios about 5 minutes ago, so the weather could have easily changed by now. It's
it is
okay.
it is clearly Freaky Friday in the state of Florida.
That's a lot better than the other Friday name we came up with, so we'll go with that.
Most definitely it is. Most definitely it is. Got plans for the weekend?
Let's see. We'll be doing the Arms Room on Saturday live at 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern time. Other
Wait,
than that,
repeat that so folks hear it again.
the Arms Room Radio on Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern. We used to say Eastern Standard and Eastern Daylight until we got those horribly wrong many, many times and got chastised by listeners, and now we just say Eastern time to call it quits.
It is kind of funny how listeners or viewers are like they want to correct you on in particular the little things.
Yeah, but I've never gotten it where you're wrong. It's always like, we just want to help. We just want to help.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Take you to that last little bit of excellence. And
No, the
appreciate it.
people who want to tell you you're wrong, they save it for Facebook.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. These social media justice warriors. Keyboard commandos.
There you go, keyboard commandos. I like that.
It's got to be hard to see the keyboard in the basement of their parents' house, though. I don't know. It's they must have really good lighting down there and night vision goggles or something. Uh, all right, yeah, we went there. Not calling out our viewers or our listeners.
Oh no,
just
no, oh no,
ones
no,
that
no,
we-
no,
that we
not
view.
not you. You're
No.
great, folks.
Yeah,
You would never
yeah.
do that.
You guys are great. You're the best.
You the best.
All
You
of
the
you.
best.
You right there on the couch. Even you're number one today.
Mhm.
We like you. We like
But
you.
but hey, just take off the bib.
Yeah. Oh man, what's with that? What's with that?
What's with that?
it's crazy. Craig, I'm going to jump right into a couple of stories that happened late this week here for us. The Supreme Court. Now, listen, we all know that we have the Supreme Court. Depending on what the topic may be, we should have a pretty conservative court. We've got, at this point, 6 justices appointed by Republican presidents and 3 justices appointed by Democratic presidents. Now, we know that the Chief Justice, John Roberts, he's kind of the waffle in there now. So, it should be a 5-4 balance, but you never know. But you know what? The Democrats can't stomach that, Craig. They've decided that because they own the Senate, they own the House, and they own the White House, that now they want to own the Supreme Court also. And the way to do that is to pack the court. Have you seen the latest pack the court legislation?
Dude. Yes, I've
Ah.
seen it. The,
Okay.
the
Okay.
the fact that they want to expand. See, here's what's funny. So they want, as you said, they want to expand it. They want to expand it from 9 to 13, right? 9 to 13. Now here is how transparent their BS is. So there are 6 conservatives. I mean, if you want to count Chief Justice Roberts as a conservative, right now there's a 6-3 majority. So they want 13. So let me see here. If I'm looking at 13 justices, what would be a majority? That would be 7. So in other words, they want to expand it to the exact number to where the President Obama, President O'Biden President O'Biden can now have a majority. He gets to appoint 4 new Supreme Court justices. How friggin' crazy is that? Or transparent is that?
Let's be clear on this. The President Biden, during his campaign, said he was not for packing the court. Last week, he appointed a commission to examine basically what to do with the court. And he put, he says he put conservatives on it. We haven't seen the names yet, but he put liberals and conservatives on it. This legislation actually comes from Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts, and then, of course, the incredible Jerry Nadler out of New York. So, it's clearly partisan nonsense, and they want to, like you said, Craig, take it from 6 to 3 appointments. 6 appointments by Republicans, 3 appointments by the Democrats, and they want to change it over to 7 to 6. That's exactly what they want to do, and it's in the for the sake of partisanship, is what they said, to bring balance back to the court. You know, like we're dealing with Jedis or something like that. They're trying to bring balance back to the court.
Well, if they wanted to bring balance, then why did they not just do? Oh, if you want perfect balance, why not 12?
Sure, why not?
They,
We want
they,
perfect balance. How come we don't get some senators and congressmen resign?
exactly, because they don't care. They're not interested in balance. What they want is they want a majority so they can do whatever the heck they want.
Right. They're going to do whatever they want, and they're going to lie about it to make you think that it's the right thing. It's the fair. It's for the children. It's for
It's
the
for the
children.
childrens. It's for the childrens.
It's for the children. Yeah, it's absolute crap. It's absolute crap. Everything that they're talking about doing is just taking over the courts. Craig, this is why there's still a fence up around D.C. This is why the White House and the House and the Senate still have a fence up around them. So when this nonsense starts, they're going to get the pushback. They're going to get. Listen, if you think this gets anywhere, if this piece of legislation gets anywhere, if you think the demonstrations that happened in January were troublesome, you just wait.
Well, but I think it goes.
Just wait.
But wait, I think it goes to the point you made just the other day, and that you were talking about foreign leaders, but hopefully, what I'm hoping is Americans are starting to see. I mean, we're talking. It's already been a very short time for the Biden presidency, and we're already seeing gas prices are going through the roof in many parts of the country. We're already seeing a lot of failing that's going on. We're already seeing he's proposing tax increases that they're literally going to cripple the economy. And I'm believing that one, it's going to make a difference. First, we're going to see it in the midterm elections, and then we're going to see it in the presidential election. And the only thing that we have to make sure of, at least those of us on the right, is that the Republican Party doesn't screw it up by putting up some idiot to run.
I've got pictures being sent to me. I believe everything when I see it, obviously, but I have a close colleague who saw the Trump 2024 bus making its way through the Southeast this past week.
Between you and I think right now, President Trump has more value as a kingmaker than a king. I think he has more for the cause as a kingmaker.
We'll see. But just by declaring 2024, if he said Trump 2024, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be the one to run in 24. I think that's his stamp on being the kingmaker. That's his stamp on taking hold of the party.
Yeah, I've read 3 different books, 2 by people who didn't like him, 1 by people who did, and the one thing that all of them agreed was when it came to the people that he surrounded himself with were very smart, very solid people. I mean, he's very good at choosing people to be around him to lead, right. And I just think that is where his strength is.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, he's obviously. We saw at CPAC a couple of weeks ago. He's obviously controlling the direction of the party. There's a few outliers that, and the one that I could think of is my beautiful Rick Scott, former governor and current senator from Florida, the sellout Scott, as we call him. So
how do you guys have two? How do you guys have 2 senators who have issues on guns? Florida.
Listen. Rubio has got to kowtow to the Hispanic population in the state. It's the sole reason for his election every year, and every 6 years, every term.
I like him on so many other things, but on guns, man, and that's the problem is that's a non-starter for me.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And Scott is just a sellout. He was an average governor until the last year or two when Parkland happened. Then he just sold out, and he's continued to be a sellout in the Senate, the federal Senate. So. We'll see. We're lucky he's still voting Republican. I have a pretty good feeling he's going to be the next, Rhino Romney.
Rhino Romney.
So we'll see that. So yeah, this Supreme Court thing, this could be troubling. This could be the time to turn those march around, and let's see what those fencers are doing up in DC, because they're still up, folks. Yeah, go take a look at some video coverage. Go find you a webcam from DC, and you'll see the fencers are still up, and they're not up for any other reason except they're going to throw up some extreme garbage, and they're trying to protect themselves. It's literally the only way they're doing it. The only reason they're doing it. Craig, now that this has not gone unnoticed amongst Republicans, the Supreme Court grab that they're trying to push forward. Now, First off, let me say that it does not appear as though the legislation put forward by Markey and Nadler will get anywhere at this point. Even Nancy Pelosi has said she does not plan on pushing this legislation forward. So, it may never come to a vote because it does not look like they could get the votes they needed. Now, it has nothing to do with whether they all want it or not. She wants it or not. It has everything to do with do not believe they could get everything they needed. There are some crossover Democrats that say they're not comfortable with it. Now, on the flip side, there's a representative, Andy Biggs, by the way, and he's not he's not with the Bee Gees. I looked that up. But Representative Andy Biggs, Republican out of Arizona, has pushed legislation forward in the House to create a constitutional amendment to limit the number of judges on the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I saw that. The number of justices has changed only a few times, and I personally wouldn't mind the idea of just saying, "Look, this is how many people are on the Supreme Court," and just have it be done. Just this is the number of people.
Yeah.
Having said that, I think it's important, with stuff like this, that you don't introduce legislation like this when it advantages you. If you want people to believe that you're serious and you want people to believe that it's for the public good, then you do it when it doesn't benefit you or your party. And that's the only issue I have with this legislation.
Yeah, from 1789 until, remember when the Constitution was signed, 1789 until 1869, the number of Supreme Court justices, and I wouldn't say fluctuated. It grew until they found it became sufficient, and since 1869, it's been locked. It's been steady. Now, there's been a couple other presidents along the way that have, FDR being one of them, that threatened to, raise the number of the Supreme Court to gain the advantage, and for the most part, the country said, no, thank you. We're good the way we are. Yeah, I like the idea of the constitutional amendment locking it, but it's like you said, Craig. You should make legislation when you're on the downside, not when you're on the upside. Maybe that changes if they find a way to pack it again. Then you want a constitutional amendment having blocked us from doing anything about it. Not sure. The other thing they were looking at in the Democrats' plan was to change it from a lifetime appointment to a term of service as well. So.
Yeah, see, I'm also not for that. I just think that it's important that people be allowed to utilize the experience that they have, and trust me, there are folks that are on the Supreme Court or have been on the Supreme Court that I wish weren't on there, but the fact is that they're there, and so it's important that we honor that, because one of the things about that lifetime appointment is that it then means that they then are not bound to the politics that the rest of politicians or appointees are tied to. They literally can then do what they believe is right. And in many cases, especially Republicans are the ones that should have issue with this, because I've never seen a Democrat appointed justice become conservative. But we have seen a number of Republican-appointed justices go to the left.
Yeah, agreed. And I think the lifetime appointment keeps them from, like you said, being subject to politics, having to seek re-election or reappointment. They don't have to get involved in that. They can just go with their core, right, and what they want to do. Now, that only works for when you get to be in a large group such as the Supreme Court. If you did that for individuals, that's how you get dictators and tyrants and kings. So. When you have the conglomeration of the Supreme Court, I think it does work, and it works rather well.
Yeah, I think. Plus, I'm sorry. I think 9 is a good number. It's not too big, but not too small.
Yeah, I'm good with 9. I'm good with where 9 is now. Craig, another number not too far off from 9 that the Democrats seem to love is the number 10. They love the number 10. It's such a good little round number that what we're going to do is take all of your magazines that you have for your firearms, all of your standard capacity magazines, and limit them to 10. 10 will be the only number you'll be allowed to have, because with 10, you can defend yourself. Because with 10, that's all you need. There's no reason for anybody to have more than 10 rounds in a magazine. No reason at all. You're not in the military. You're not law enforcement. You only need 10. And Correct. That's the actual quote. You're not in the military. You're not in law enforcement. You don't need more than 10. Well, Craig, that makes perfect sense because I have, 3 cops that live at my house and they protect me at all the time.
Well, as a person who lives in a state that, we have those sorts of limitations. Yeah, California is a state that allows you to only purchase magazines with only 10 rounds. Now, we did have a week there for a period of time. We called it Freedom Week, where it was a week where there was a judgment in place, and Californians were allowed to purchase whatever size magazines they wanted. And we bought out the entire country. So standard capacity magazines are in common use in the state of California amongst gun owners. But it's crazy because, it ignores the fact that, first of all, if 10 were enough, then why don't they limit law enforcement to 10-round magazines, right? The fact is that if you're dealing with multiple assailants, 10 rounds may or may not be enough. If I'm dealing with 2 or 3 people in my home and they've got 30, 15, whatever round magazines, how do I know that I've got enough? I have the ability to be able to appropriately defend myself. And that's the thing, is that 10 is such an odd number because it's like, why don't you just let's look at, even if, okay, I'm not for limiting magazine capacity, let me be clear. But if it weren't arbitrary, why not just go with, okay, what are standard capacity magazines? I mean, what's their standard capacity? What's standard for a particular firearm? Why aren't they using that number instead of the number 10?
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't make any sense. Listen, a standard capacity magazine we know on these, modern sporting rifles, on the AR series of rifles, is 30 rounds. Listen, at one point it had been 20 because they couldn't figure out how to stack the rounds in it, and that lasted very, very limited time. And in Vietnam, the service over there, they realized, well, we need more. So they created the 30-round magazine. They finally figured it out, and that became the standard capacity magazine because guess what they had to do? They had to face other people that didn't care about the size of our magazines, and they had more. So we had to compensate and get the 30-round magazine for that. Now, if you took all of the magazines in this country, Craig, and you averaged them out, I'm pretty sure the number of capacity would be 30 because there's that many of these magazines out there. To try and come up with this number that says 30's enough, or excuse me, 10's enough, it's just crap. When bad guys 50 years ago learned that fingerprints were being used against them, and that's more like 100 years ago, you know what they started to do? They started to wear gloves. When cameras started to come into use in banks and everywhere else 30, 40 years ago, they started to wear masks. Well, guess what happens if you start to put 10-round magazines and limit that to everybody that's able to defend themselves? The bad guys are not going to carry 10-rounders. They're going to carry their 30-rounders, and they're going to put a spare one in their pocket or attach them back to back, all of which are illegal in this proposed Keep Americans Safe Act. Keep Americans Safe Act. This is more like Create American Victims Act is what this should be called.
Look, all I heard was that people with 30-round magazines are compensating for something. That's all I heard you say.
Yeah. We clearly are. Yep.
I know I am.
Listen, I've got 32 rounders, so I don't know about you, but it's just,
30 plus one, baby. 30 plus one.
Just garbage. I mean, garbage. And this is going to happen. Every one of these, I'm going to make sure we get these names out here so you know who these the sellouts to American freedom are. Senator Bob Menendez from New Jersey, Representative Diana DeGette from Colorado, Representative Diana Titus from Nevada, and my favorite, one of my local Floridians here, Representative Ted Douche. And guess what we call him? We don't call him Douche. We call him another word that sounds very similar.
Douche?
Yeah, there you go. I didn't know if we could say that. That's right. We're not on. There's no
we can
FCC
say that. That's
regulation.
not. Douche is not a dirty word. It's not one of the 7 dirty words.
It's not? Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, he's one of those with a bag on it. So,
Douche with a bag on it. Okay.
So they're coming. They're coming for him. They just, no, we don't have to worry about Biden in office. He's never going to take our guns. It's all right. These are never going to happen. Listen, we just have to control the Senate. If we control the Senate, we won't have to worry about it. Well, guess what? All of you anti-Trumpers, all of you TDS people that allowed this guy to get in office, do you really think if Trump was president and this crap crossed his desk that he would sign it into law? Okay, this is what you get. This is what you get. Elections have consequences, and those of you that couldn't take Badman Orange, I don't like his tweets. Now you get to lose your guns and your Supreme Court. Okay,
You know,
that's where we are.
I appreciate that you bring that up because for those of you who are watching, and I've said this, and this is I'm not shy about this. 2016, I didn't vote for Donald Trump, and I didn't vote for him because I did not believe he was going to govern like a conservative. I am glad to say I was wrong. Now, in most cases, he was spot on. He was the sort of president that I would have liked to have seen. He did have some issues, but once again, I don't expect anybody, any politician especially, to be perfect. But I do expect someone to govern. If you're going to be a Republican, I expect you to govern as a Republican, and he did more than most presidents in my lifetime. During his thing. And so I voted for him in 2020, which is probably what doomed him to lose because I actually voted for him. But yeah, I got mad at people because people are like, well, I can't vote for him for this and I can't vote for him for that. And even people in the gun community, well, because of bump stocks and because of what he said, I'm like, look, man, I hear you and I agree with you. I don't agree with those things that he did, but in the end, you have to choose between him and the guy who is going to encourage people to do stuff like this: magazine capacity limits, ban 80% lowers, expand background checks, all of these various different things. And I'm like, you got to ask yourself, what's if not who's the best, at the very least, who's the lesser of two evils?
Exactly right. Yeah, it gets back to that old South Park episode where they had to choose, or their class president was between a giant douche and a turd sandwich. That was their two candidates, and they had to pick which one was best for them. And if you're a Second Amendment guy, you picked wrong this time. Okay, now
you picked wrong. You picked wrong, dude. The number of South Park references that you've made on the show. It's scary. It makes me wonder how you spend your time when you're not in front of the camera, in front of the mic.
I'll tell you what, my South Park references probably end about 8 or 10 years ago. I'll tell you that, because prior to that, it was a lot of overseas time, and we had on your downtime, you just got handed, here's a full season of this, or here's a full season of that, and you pulled out your laptop and you just, you walked out like Neo in the Matrix. You're like, oh, I know South Park.
I know South Park.
Because, listen, I also know everything about Laverne and Shirley too, because guess what? That's all that was available when you're over there. You're just handing those CDs around and those DVDs around. So you learned it all.
Nice.
Yeah. No, another weird little fact about that. I came home and you'd be gone for a year and a half, and we had internet, but it wasn't like high speed internet or anything. I want you to think back to the last days before iPhones and Androids. That's when I was over there. And which is really not that long ago. It was only 10, 12 years ago. But somebody asked me the other day about a movie, and I was like, yeah, I've never seen it. Like, what do you mean you've never seen it? I'm like, yeah, it's part of my 15-month, 16-month blank experience with life. It's just, people come back and are like, no, this was a movie. It was really big. I'm like, yeah, no clue. No, I have no idea what you're talking about. Music will happen, movies will happen, and I've just got this blank spot in there from having been gone. And they're like, well, you should watch this movie. And I looked it up, and it was actually the whole Expendables stuff.
You should call
I've never seen the Expendables.
You should call it Afghanisnesia.
Yeah, Afghanisnesia. Yep. Yeah, I guess the Expendables came out while I was over there, and then the other ones came out. I never saw the other ones because I didn't see the first one, and now I have this. People are making Expendables reference, and I'm like, I don't get it.
You got to watch. They're good. They're interesting. I mean, for what they are.
I will do it. Homework assignment. I will get it done. I promise. Speaking of Expendables and all of their guns, those are the kind of guys that I think Senator Warnock out of Georgia must have hired during his campaign there and in his recent post-election time period, because this is one of those anti-gun guys. He's an anti-gunner. He signs on to everything. He's Democrat. He's from Georgia. You'd think a Georgia Democrat would appreciate firearms down there, but not this guy. He's lockstep in with all of the Democrats for anti-guns, but while he's running for office and after he's won office, he spends $169,000 on armed security. $169,000. I think that would get the Expendables, at least the second or third movie.
It would be pretty darn close, or a very cool gun.
Yeah. Ooh, wow. Yeah. Oh, that'd be like a RoboCop kind of gun. You would just be like, "Come here, gun," and it came over to you. It'd just be like, "Protect me, gun." Oh, I
Well,
got
but
you. Yeah.
but that's the funny part about these guys. It's like they say, well, we don't want people having guns. We don't want people having guns, but yet they then surround themselves with people with firearms. And here's the interesting thing to me. It's like rather than defend yourself, you'd rather have someone else's father, brother, son, mother, sister, daughter come with a gun and put their life on the line to defend you as opposed to you actually defending yourself. To me is the ultimate of both hypocrisy and cowardice.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. This guy is standard run of the mill hypocrite. Same as your Bloomberg, and same as your Hollywood elite. Well, you know what? I was thinking of what's her name, Samantha Alyssa Milano, and I can't even call her the elite. She's just the Hollywood average, I would think. So you've got it from all realms there where they want to have these firearms to protect themselves, and just nobody else can have them. Nobody else can. Listen, we just saw 10 million people buy firearms over the last year to protect themselves during riots and unrest. And but no, that's not. Sorry, you still can't have one. You still can't have one to protect yourself. And if you do have one now, by the way, you can only have 10 rounds in it because that's the number we've
Because you
decided
would know
good
what to
enough,
do with that 11th round.
Yeah, yeah. Have no idea. Where do you keep the 11th round? It's in the pen holder on the shirt.
I keep it in the chamber.
in the chamber. There you go. In the chamber. There you go. What's that meme that says, "Do you have any mental illness in your family?" And it says, "Well, I had one uncle that refused to keep a round in the chamber." But,
True that.
oh boy, boy. Speaking of riots, Governor DeSantis. Governor DeSantis. I got to give another shout out to the rockin' governor here in Florida, who may be a 2024 candidate for president. We'll see.
That's a Florida man I can get behind.
Yeah, you know what? We're gonna end the show with another Florida man, and you don't want to get behind that guy. I'll say that. But the current Florida man that we're talking about, Governor Ron DeSantis, you want to get behind. When all this nonsense started and our state legislation was out of session, he put forth a bill and found some sponsors for. It's kind of how to deal with the riots that you see going on around the country. In his bill, it's the anti-riot bill basically. And if you get involved in a riot and commit any damage while you're there, it's no longer just the misdemeanor. What he's done is created the enhancement penalty for it. If you damage things in Florida under $300 worth of damage, it's a misdemeanor. If it's over $300, it's a felony. Well, people that were going to these riots were just throwing rocks and bottles and doing minor amounts of damage. Now you put 1,000 of them out there all doing that equals a lot of damage. So what they've done is made any damage you do during a riot is now a felony. Any assault on a law enforcement officer during a riot is a felony. Any theft during a riot is now a felony. So he's raised all those minimum levels if a riot is involved, or unrest, or tumultuous times, whatever you want to call it. It's now a felony. The other thing that he's added in there, and I love this, is that if you get arrested or convicted for any of these charges, you lose your state benefits. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, all your free handouts that you're getting, you don't get them anymore. You're going to lose them in Florida. It's wonderful. Well, this guy's great. So to the point, Craig, where 20 other states have copied this legislation now.
I love it because the point of it is that I get it. If you believe that you need to get out and you need to protest, then you get out and you protest. Okay, right. Fine. I don't have to agree with why you're protesting, but when you get to the point where you're destroying property, you're putting people's lives at risk, and you're assaulting officers, you've now stepped over the line, and it's serious. And we need to let people know that that will not be tolerated. That sort of destruction and violence, that's not how you seek redress from your government. So when you do that, you ought to pay a stiff penalty. And so I love it. I'm all down for it.
Yeah, the other great provisions in here are if there's a city or a county that refuses to take actions against these ne'er-do-wells, that the state will hold them liable for it. The state could come down and throw charges against the city and county officials for sitting back and allowing it to happen. So I love that. Get something like you do in Portland, or you had out in Chaz, guess what? We got charges for your ass.
Oh, dude, I love that. Because you get in particular in these in good states that have some cities that don't want to enforce the law.
Yeah.
You need to go after them.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And Florida's already done it in the past with the sanctuary counties and cities. If you declare yourself a sanctuary county or city in Florida, you've broken the law in Florida, and they can remove you from office. So that's why you don't see a lot of that nonsense going on in Florida for the sanctuary cities for immigration and stuff. But
Dude, we
good
need
stuff.
to move to
Good
Florida.
stuff. Now we alluded to a parting shot.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Our parting shot is Florida man, and it's actually our parting shot is a video of the parting shot of a Florida man. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Craig, the only thing missing there is the theme show for the Dukes of Hazzard. The theme song for the show, the Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah, this guy in Daytona Beach just saw the drawbridge coming up and decided, yeah, I'm not having any of this. I'm done. I got to get somewhere, and I'm taking my car over the drawbridge, and that's what he did. I mean, I tried to zoom in. I wanted to see if it was an orange Charger, that was making the jump. If I could hear a yeehaw being yelled out the window,
yeehaw!
Like that. Yeah, that's it. It looks like the Dukes may have become Florida men. That's all I'm saying, because we got it going on down here.
I'm telling you, it is what I love about Florida, because look, the best and the scariest and the weirdest stories all come from Florida, or at least 4 out of 5 come from Florida.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and the other 5th story, that's somebody on the way to Florida. That's
Yeah, and sadly, all of the scary, stupid stuff all comes from California.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I there's a lot of great Florida stories out there, Craig, and I think I have to say my favorite one was the guy who went through the Wendy's drive-thru and they didn't get his order right, so he came back and threw an alligator through the window at them. That's one of my favorites.
Folks, if you've never done it, you have to do this. I remember when I heard about the Florida Man Challenge. Here's what you do. You go online, right? Pull out your thing and put in your birthday. You put in your birthday, and then you type in Florida Man, and then hit search and see what comes up. I promise you will find at least one story that will make you laugh out loud.
Yeah. Just do the day and the month, and then put Florida Man and watch what happens.
Oh yeah. Just the day and the month. Yeah. Oh,
you'll be extremely tickled with yourself.
Florida Man Challenge. In fact, do this. Go ahead and do that, and then share it. Share it in the comments of this video. I would love to see that. Please do that.
Good stuff, folks. So thank you for joining us on this Friday. Help me through this, Craig. Make sure I get it right. You need to like, share, and subscribe.
Yes.
To us here on YouTube. The same on Facebook. You need to like there on Facebook and share there as well, because we like spending time with you, and we want to spend time with more of you.
Exactly. So, folks, to be clear, we're working on we need to get to 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel. Once we get there, we're sponsors who are willing to donate stuff for us or contribute stuff for us to be able to do some giveaways, but we have to hit 100 subscribers. So we need you guys. Subscribe. Even if you're just watching us on Facebook, click over to YouTube and subscribe.
Do it. Like, share, subscribe. I heard ammunition sponsors, Craig. I heard that too. I just want to say that.
Ammunition sponsors.
Yeah. Just want to say
very
that.
nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Hey, y'all have a good weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Have a good weekend.